Yeah. Yeah. Come and never sleep on me. Eyes on my chain 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another yeah. I go low like undercover yeah. Wanna know my name 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 기름 guess you can even guess me cause I'm baby high low로 확실해 not like maybe Devil let me welcome to my palace 찾지 않아 Alice you just keep on wonder You just keep on wonder 찾지 않아 Alice 버려 너의 memory I just pop a bin Danny have been 나는 걸어 Boeing 747 I get weak
Hey everybody, welcome to the first ever, all three of us are in person, Bondcast. And you know what that means? That means it's time to do something special. We're doing The Living Daylights. My personal favorite Bond movie. I'm pretty sure both these guys next to me love it too. What are your thoughts on it, John?
So I have to say it's probably one of my top three. I was actually discussing this on the car ride down here, my stepdaughter and I know I might have mentioned her a few times, but she's a big Bond fan actually. For a 12-year-old in 2023, I mean,
It's rare.
I mean it's rare, you know what I mean? But literally, I've watched like Bond montages on TV, and she'd be like, "That's from Goldfinger." That's what I know. You know, it's moments like that make you really like know that you're doing something right. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. I'm sorry I went on that big long tangent, but yeah, this it's one of my favorite Bond movies. I was telling them that there's this movie, there's For Your Eyes Only, and there's like Goldfinger. And maybe The Spy Who Loved Me. Those movies right there, you could take any of those and put them in number one space, and it would work for me. I think they're great movies.
What about GoldenEye?
Yeah, I was about to say you could probably add GoldenEye and Casino Royale to that too.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to change your opinion. The only reason I said this is because like that was almost one for one my number one favorites as well, plus GoldenEye. So.
Yeah. But I think this is one of the most underrated Bond movies. I think this is just like the level of like actual kind of espionage, you know. That's one thing I like about this movie. And even as a kid, see, this actually got a personal kind of a personal touch to me. Go back to Video Corner. I remember my mom renting this movie for me whenever I was a kid. And like I remember I would like take it, like if I had to go to Mom and Pa's house, I'd take it with me. Like take the movie with me and watch it on everybody's VCR. Yeah, like I mean, it was one of my first Bond movies I saw.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about like how on Her Majesty's Secret Service some people don't like it because Lazenby's in it, but you know, I grew up with that movie. It was one of the first I saw. It's the same thing with this. I heard a lot of people. I mean, my dad does not like Timothy Dalton as Bond.
Really?
Yeah, my dad.
Why is that?
They just don't think that he looks like James Bond. To me, especially whenever I got into reading the novels, man, a lot of the novels, I would picture Bond as, you know, sometimes like Timothy Dalton or maybe George Lazenby. I think those two are probably the closest we got to Fleming's Bond, and especially Dalton in this movie.
Yeah.
I do not think, and this is a little bit of me foreshadowing the next episode, but I do not think License to Kill, and I love License to Kill, but I do not think is very Fleming, just because just how violent and cold-blooded Bond is in that movie. I mean, the Fleming Bond to me is not like that, but the way he is in this movie, you know, he's balancing like the cold and calculating, you know, like just killer aspects, kind of like whenever he's got John Rhys Davies on his knees in front of him, you know, with a gun to his head. You know, you get that cold-blooded stuff like Roger Moore. As much as I love Sir Roger, and Roger Moore wasn't about to.
No,
that ain't the scene he was about to do.
No,
get a grown man on his knees with a gun, you know, right in front of his girl. Roger Moore wasn't about to do that, you know, but Timothy Dalton could, you know, and I think this movie, it's just quintessentially I think it just comes out as perfect. License to Kill, is most definitely like some of the themes in this movie took to a extreme.
Yeah.
But see, I just think that this one right here just perfectly encapsulates at least the 1980s Bond movies. This is a John Glenn Bond movie.
Oh yeah,
like through and through.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's
for
so
sure.
like convoluted. Like we got Russians, we got the Mujahideen, we got the Animal Heart later on. There's just
You
so
got
much.
opium?
Yeah, opium.
You
and
got a
there's-
Diamond Heights?
Oh yeah, the opium. I forgot all about that. Yeah,
There's just so much going on in this movie.
And don't forget plane fights.
One thing I do want to add, and then I promise I'm gonna let somebody else talk because I know I've been on this like soliloquy over here just to me
Hey,
talking.
man.
But
that's all right.
Preach.
have y'all ever? I mean, you can tell this is a Southern podcast. Have y'all ever?
Have y'all read?
Hey, just some good old boys.
We preaching Bond in the Bible Belt.
I love it. I love it. Hey, you know, we need to get a T-shirt made of that.
Bond in the Bible Belt.
If this ever takes off, we're getting at 1,000 subscribers. We're getting that.
We'll get Bond in the Bible Belt.
If you, for any reason, ever decide to change the name of the podcast, I don't think you should. I think it's fine. Bond in the Bible Belt.
Hey,
oh my god,
that's it.
That's perfect.
But anyway, like so what was I even saying before we got off on that?
You were talking about how just you lost me. I'm gone.
I remember you saying this was a John Glenn Bond movie through and through.
Oh yeah, I know what I was going to ask. Okay, I know you're a reader. I don't know if you read much, but have you read anything by John le Carré?
I have not.
Well, like the way Dalton's portrayal of Bond is, it's more along the lines of like, I mean, not complete John le Carré, but like kind of a little bit influenced by his form of espionage writing, like his form of like spy fiction, which is more real, I guess.
Yeah.
Not as like I once saw it. You ever heard of that website TV Tropes?
TV Tropes. I don't.
All right. Well, like anyway, it was one that was talking about spy fiction, and it compared like the fantastical, like James Bond. They called that a martini espionage, and they called like the real gritty kind stale beer.
Stale beer.
Stale beer.
Huh.
So I would say that Dalton's Bond is more of a stale beer approach than it is. I mean, this movie has got its martini flavored moments, like the car, but I mean, there's some parts of this movie, it's very stale beer.
Yeah.
That being said, gonna hand it off to somebody else because I've done talked my voice out.
Man, so I watched this movie twice this week. The first time was right after I finished To Be to a Kill, and the second time was, I don't know, probably a couple nights ago, just so it would be fresh in my mind. And John, you mentioned something about this being like really more of an espionage story.
Yeah.
And I think it's so clear to me because I'm watching it juxtaposed to the Roger Moore era that we just wrapped up. And as I was watching, I was thinking, man, like I feel like this is a perfect Bond movie.
Yes.
But I don't know if I feel that way because, like I said, I'm comparing it to the Roger Moore era, or if it actually is a perfect Bond movie. And hearing your thoughts kind of makes me think maybe it is.
Well, this movie, to me, the plot of this movie reminds me a lot of Octopussy's plot. Like, you have two villains.
Yes.
One is like obviously on a grander scale, whereas like in Octopussy, you had General Orloff was like the side bad guy to Kamal Khan. Well, here we have Brad Whitaker, who is, I guess, the actual legit bad guy.
Yeah.
But of course, we see more of Georgi Koskov. And
man, Georgi is just so likable.
Yes, he is just such a.
He looks like a preacher.
Yeah,
he's kind of a man child.
Yes,
but
he is the definition of a man child.
But I can't help but kind of like him.
You can't help but you can't help but like him.
And as far as Joe Don Baker's Brad Whitaker, I just wish we got to see a little more of him. I think he got maybe 3 or 4 scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah,
and
like he's kind of like the one you just kind of forget about.
You do, but
and
so
it must be because I think the reason, and this is my opinion, maybe because we're always just seeing him in his office, whereas we're seeing Koskov's out with Bond, and he's out making deals with other Soviet generals to and he's doing all that stuff.
He doesn't get a lot of hands on.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is the first couple of scenes that you do see him in, they do a good job of painting him as like a menacing guy, because he's got these busts of these army generals with his face.
Yeah, Genghis Khan and Adolf Hitler and Nero and
who's the Russian representative that took over for Gogol.
Okay, so this is John Rhys Davies. General Pushkin.
Okay. So when he is going to meet Whitaker, they're having a conversation about the dummies that Whitaker's got, and he says something like
butchers,
savages, or something like that, and Whitaker goes, "No, surgeons. They cut off society's dead flesh."
Yeah.
And that to me was like, I was like, okay.
And you can definitely tell like he's mentally like
thrown. He's twisted. Yeah.
So I want to say this. I love General Pushkin. Okay, I do. I think John. I mean, I just love John Rhys Davies as a regular person.
Phenomenal actor.
I mean, like he's in the indie movies too.
He's in Wolverines.
But excuse me. But I like him in this movie so much. One thing I want to say: originally, that was supposed to be General Gogol.
Yep.
So why wasn't it?
Because he started really feeling bad, and like his health was really bad.
Okay, so but he does appear.
He does appear in
the movie. So I guess it
just imagine.
He ended up living until 1995 too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So,
but, I mean, I will say this, man. General Gogol. I know I gushed on him in the past episode, but man, General Gogol, he's awesome.
So if you think about it, had Gogol been able to do all the parts that John Rhys Davies did, it would have made way more sense.
I mean, yes,
like the emotional connection.
Yeah,
because you got to think we've seen this dude in like what
4 or
5 movies.
Yeah,
and now, I mean, just imagine if it was General Gogol on his knees in front of Bond with a gun in his face. I mean, or that part whenever when Bond hits pistol whips him.
Yeah,
I mean, just imagine doing that to General Gogol.
You could tell Bond didn't want to do it.
No,
but it's serious. It is down to the wire.
Yeah, like it. Hey, I see what you did there. I like that.
What did he do?
Reference the song "The Living Daylights." He said "Down to the Wire."
Oh.
Whoops.
You didn't even.
I didn't even mean to do it.
Hey, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, love the gun barrel sequence. Dalton has his own little way of shooting, which is, I don't know, it's a little bit different than what we've seen before, but it's
like, I swear he does it in the movie.
I've always liked it. I remember when I was a kid seeing that gun barrel and liking that.
Moving on to the pre-title sequence. So, I love that we got the 00 agents, they're going on this little thing in Gibraltar, the SAS is going to be out there. So, and, M, of course, we got Robert Brown M, who's got a office in the plane.
That is my favorite part. That is why I love Robert Brown's M so much, because he takes the death trope to the next level, putting a desk on a freaking plane with no paperweights.
I had not looked at it from that angle. When I saw this scene the other night, I was thinking, man, you can really tell he's new to being M, because who brings all that paperwork to a cargo plane?
It's all confidential papers too. Yeah, he's got to catch them.
Like I like that they did that, and I know that is very much a Roger Moore thing. So this movie has got a lot of Roger Moore holdovers. You know what I mean? Like, and this is definitely one of them. Remember, even in the Connery movies, M had an office on a submarine.
Yeah.
And one in the Moore movies, he had one in Egypt in a pyramid or something? I mean, like, I don't know. Temple or something like that.
You said something earlier about how this movie, or Bond in this movie, strikes a balance between cold assassin and what was the term? Martini.
Yeah.
And I think that's because the filmmakers were kind of trying to ease you into this different style of Bond.
Well, I mean, it needed to have this movie.
It did.
I mean,
this is a good transition movie, I think.
You know, just speaking on just the Dalton era, just the whole thing. It is, guys. I could easily have watched like 10 more movies with Dalton. I mean, he is just so awesome. So, one thing I do want to say, the original Living Daylights script.
Yeah.
And I should have brought the book with me, but I've got 2 Bond reference books. One is called The Lost Adventures of James Bond. It's by this guy named Mark Edlitz. He just come out with a new book. Michelle just bought it for me. It will be on hopefully next podcast.
Oh, we look forward to that.
But and I got another book, and it's called The Making of the Living Daylights, and I cannot remember who did it. But it's got like,
I have to buy that.
Yes, you need that book. Hey, you do too, Caleb.
Sure.
Seriously. Yeah. It's thick. I mean, like really thick, just full of information. But the original idea for this movie was to be like a prequel before Dr. No, and Bond was going to be, a younger agent.
Was it going to show him getting his 00?
Yeah, and like it was going to be set like in
So this was like the
Casino,
the original reboot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was gonna.
It was gonna be. Yeah.
I
got you.
I mean, guys, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, I heard about this on. I think it was James Bond Radio. I was listening to their episode, and it was about that book, The Making of the Living Daylights. I literally bought the book. No, I didn't buy it right then. But I literally right whenever I was listening to the guy talk about how it detailed the prequel idea, I was like, Michelle, that's what I want for Christmas. This was a few years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, you need to get me that for Christmas, and she did. And
cool.
I'm telling you, it is worth every penny.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so just this first part, the pre-title sequence, we get, they're trying to play a little trick on us. They're trying to make us think, wonder who the Bond's going to be. Well, I mean, like we didn't know, the poster outside the movie theater would have had Timothy Dalton on there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they made sure to be careful how they chose these extras, making sure they all had the same features. Dark hair.
Yeah. So I love how we finally, whenever we see Bond, and he's like turning around. That is like the greatest shot ever. You know,
that's a really cool shot.
It looks so good.
Yes.
I would just like to take a minute and just like give my appreciation to Timothy Dalton, like if that's cool, because like a lot of people that I try to get to like these, that's another thing that makes me, with all these Bond movies, everybody's so quick to be like, oh, Sean's the best, oh, Roger.
Yeah,
like
bad.
They're like they're so quick to just completely shut down and not watch one of Timothy Dalton's movies. You have to look at our leading stars in our modern times. Like, I understand Roger Moore was tall. Timothy Dalton's 6'2". Like, he's the perfect height for James Bond.
Oh yeah.
Like, and he looks like Henry Cavill with like an imperfect face. Like, so like he's tall, like he's good looking in a way. Like he's no Pierce Brosnan. Like I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah,
but still, he's handsome.
Like he's handsome in his own way.
He's like handsome in like a more of like a colder way.
He is
like a real man handsome.
This is how I put it. He is realistically handsome.
Yeah. Like he's
like he's not like a Ken doll.
He doesn't look airbrush.
I like Pierce Brosnan. I appreciate Brosnan's movies. Every one of his movies, especially, there's at least 1 or 2 scenes throughout a movie in his where it looks like I'm watching a suit commercial.
Yeah, yes, like a Brioni suit commercial.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like, man.
One thing I will say about I want to say this, and I'm getting really off track, but just talking about Brosnan, I really do think that like a lot of maybe just the themes of like GoldenEye, and maybe even Tomorrow Never Dies. I think he really did take Timothy Dalton's character and just kind of like take the way he was in The Living Daylights, and kind of like added
little Roger Moore,
just a little bit more Roger Moore and Sean Connery to it. And
that's fair.
Like, because I mean, GoldenEye to me could pass as a Timothy Dalton movie.
Man,
now I could say
as soon as I was old enough to think this way, I watched that movie and I was like, they wrote this for Timothy Dalton,
Yes,
clearly.
like I always kind of suspected that too. I remember do you know Ricky Smith?
I don't.
You know Ricky, right?
I do know Ricky.
Well, Ricky's like us. He likes Bond too.
He's a good dude.
I remember me and him talked about just about how it'd be if like Timothy Dalton, because he's like me and you. He's a big Timothy Dalton Bond fan.
I've never got to talk to Ricky about that, but maybe I will one day.
But he was like, man, just imagine Timothy Dalton in Goldeneye, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna be straight with you. I would not trade my Pierce Brosnan Goldeneye.
I don't think I would either.
But if I could just get that also have that Timothy Dalton one.
Have you seen the deep fake? You've seen the deep fake.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. It gives you a little idea what it would be like. But I'm like you. I'm like it's, and I've actually noticed this a lot here lately. Some people are actually kind of negative toward that movie, Goldeneye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more people are now, and I don't get it.
I don't either.
I think it's perfect.
That's like to me. It
was the gold standard for a modern Bond.
Yes. Yeah. And you also got to take into consideration that at that time there was sort of I don't know, Bond was sort of in this weird, this like gray area where
it was in limbo.
It was after the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
The Cold War was over. People didn't know.
It was sort of in this like awkward transitional period, and how much better could it have been? Is what I'm trying to say.
But and I'm gonna say this, and then I promise I'm gonna get back on topic. That book, The Lost Adventures of James Bond by Mark Edlitz, goes over like 3 different Timothy Dalton movie ideas. One, I'm not gonna say too much about it. Just because like you need to buy that book. Whoever's listening to this, you need to buy Mr. Edlitz's book. I'm telling you, this dude is doing God's work on the Bond series.
Okay.
But anyway, like it goes over one where it's like that prequel I was telling you about, and also one where Bond has to fight like a Terminator style robot. I mean, it's like absolute craziness.
Is the Terminator style robot? Is that was it Q's robot from A View to a Kill that just like went crazy or something?
Unfortunately not. But anyway, so you got something to say?
Well, did you finish your appreciation for Timothy Dalton?
No, not yet.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
I wanted to hear the rest of that.
So like, people don't give. Okay, so Caleb said he didn't give Roger Moore a fair shake, and I feel like that's the way most people don't give Timothy Dalton.
That's very true.
If you'll look at Timothy Dalton in today's time, going back looking at him, like Patrick Stewart wasn't like huge at the time, but Patrick Stewart in '87, Patrick Stewart was doing TNG, like the Star Trek Next Generation. He was getting popular.
Yeah.
Like if you'll look at Timothy Dalton and the way he acts, they both come from Shakespearean acting. They're acting like they're very, very similar, and like they're both great actors. I really think like if people like the stuff they see from Patrick Stewart in later films and stuff like that, they would love Timothy Dalton if they just like realize how similar they are. Yeah. And that's another thing that just bothers me that people don't give him a fair
well, here's the thing, and I completely agree, 100%. Like, but I think the reason Dalton wasn't as well received is because they went from Roger Moore, and I said this movie is a good transitional movie, but I'm a Bond fan, so I'm biased. But you're going from Roger Moore to a dark, cold assassin, Timothy Dalton, and people just like weren't ready for it.
Yeah, well, even so, I would from a standpoint of somebody who hasn't watched all the movies in a row, I would agree with that. But like we just watched all of Roger's movies together. There are so many things from Roger's movies still left in this movie.
Yeah, there are some
like,
little things that carry over.
Like they knock over a shower and there's butt naked dudes running out of it. Like there's a parrot in the movie. Like literally they cut the flying carpet scene out of this movie because it's literally like a Roger Moore trope.
So you have seen the flying carpet scene.
Like it is like there is like Roger Moore could have been in this movie had he not been a bajillion years old.
Yeah, I agree.
But like the tone of this movie, Roger could have done it.
Right.
So like it's not like the movie is too far beyond.
Yeah.
The movie isn't, but the way Bond is portrayed.
Right. The way Tim acts isn't Roger Moore camp,
Right.
but there is camp sprinkled throughout the movie.
Yeah.
This is like a happy medium between.
It is. It's like
both sides.
it is like a perfect Bond movie.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this first part? We got Timothy Dalton's reveal, and then we get, of course, that one guy who gets the cord cut on him.
Yeah.
And of course, we see the tag
Spin them.
that means death to spies.
Yeah.
And that's actually from the novels, okay?
Okay.
So spionum, those words combined make Smersh, and Smersh was the original James Bond, like, villainous organization.
Yeah.
So
Predating
Spectre. So
which they don't have Spectre anymore because of all the problems previously on our other podcasts.
So Smersh in this movie felt like a real, like legit, like Fleming throwback. Like, I mean, because Smersh was a big deal in the books, but like in the movies, this movie and From Russia with Love are the only movies that even mention the name Smersh. That's it. Like we never hear about it again. In the books, they are in a bunch of books. And then the John Gardner books, that even gets revived. Like, I mean, Smersh comes back, but in the movies, we just never really did get that much. And even when it was mentioned, it never was the bad guys. It was always like, because in this movie, Smersh is not an actual thing. They're just using that to, pull a ruse over on the English. But in the books, I mean, Smersh was like legit, like, a menace, and was some of the worst villains was part of Smersh,
Which we're expected. So, like, they didn't reboot Bond. This Bond is expected to know who Smersh is.
Yes.
So, it's a big deal.
You remember whenever he's lighting his cigarette, whenever he's at the table with Koskov, and Koskov's like, spionum, and like the Minister of Defense is like, what? And Timothy Dalton's like, death to spies.
Pause. I love that they brought back Bond smoking.
I wanted to say that too.
It is one of my favorite things.
Thank God.
Look, I don't advocate smoking. I think it's a bad habit, but Bond smokes. It is what it is.
Yeah. So, and like just seeing Timothy Dalton sit there, with cigarettes out, talking about Smersh, it really does bring back, like, man, this is that same character.
Yes.
From those Fleming novels. This is him.
The cartoon era is finally over, and we're back to watching James Bond.
So whenever, just this movie is literally just like, to me, this is Ian Fleming's creation. This movie and On Her Majesty's Secret Service are the movies when I see literally Ian Fleming's creation is there walking around.
I totally agree.
A lot of people would say License to Kill is, but I just don't think that movie is, and I'm going to talk about that in the next episode. But I think that's not the way Bond is portrayed as in Fleming. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Now that being said, I like the way Dalton did with License to Kill. I like that, but that's not the actual Fleming Bond.
I never took issue with Bond's brutality in that movie. What I always took issue with was it's very Miami Vice influenced.
Yes, it is.
Very,
and Scarface. And,
And if you can go into that movie and like just ignore all those things, it's not as good as this one, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up next week, but I really like brotherly relations and fatherly relations in that film. That's what makes that movie for me.
Yeah.
But I'll touch on that next week.
So, in this movie, of course, we get Bond. This part we get Bond pretty much breaking out of covert activity to chase after the assassin.
Oh, don't, mate, you're dead.
It's like, I love how Tim is like running towards dude, and like it is the most awkward run and shove ever. It makes me uncomfortable.
It wasn't even I'm going to take you down. It was like, you're a dick for shooting me with that friggin'
dude. Remind me when we get to the safe house with Em and Yorgi. Remind me Just Bond's being a dick. Just remind me of that.
Okay, but anyway, so Bond, of course, gets on top of the truck. I love this scene. The guy pulls out the suppressed pistol and is shooting through the top, and you see the.
He almost shoots him in the dick.
It's just awesome.
This is a great opening scene.
Oh,
yes.
it is.
I love it.
It's one of my favorites.
And I'm gonna give my Dalton appreciation with this. We actually see Bond running.
Yes,
We actually see the actor playing Bond
Before Tom Cruise.
yeah. I was about to say this is like a pre-Mission Impossible Mission Impossible.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But my whole point with it is, yeah, we actually do see the actor run, but like Timothy Dalton sells the action, and you can say that he does on stunts, but like maybe 60%, like he might have threw some punches or jumped over, I don't know, a wall, but like
I was listening to another podcast where like they shot a lot of him riding on the truck.
Yeah,
okay,
that's what I heard.
well, that's the thing. I buy it.
Yeah.
He sells the action.
Yeah, like he's not afraid to get dirty. I think.
When Roger Moore exits the frame and then we get a wide shot of two guys fighting, I'm like, well, clearly that's a different guy. You know what I mean?
That guy's Puerto Rican. L. James Bondo. I'm sorry, guy.
But I mean, I'm be straight with you, dude. Like Timothy Dalton, if he wasn't such a good actor, he could have probably been a pretty good stuntman too. You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, from
He's
what
got
I've
the
heard.
face for it.
But
Look, that was a dig.
It was. I love Dalton.
but you know, you're talking about Roger Mooreisms. We do get some here. Of course, we're in Gibraltar. There's all those monkeys.
I like the monkeys.
We did see John Glenn's signature bird earlier in the movie. But anyway,
but it wasn't a bird in this movie though.
There's a parrot.
The parrot.
There's a parrot in this movie.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
There was what?
Yeah, there's a parrot in this movie. I'm not sure what part of the movie. I think the parrot's early in the movie.
Hey, yeah, I'm getting stuff mixed up. It was the monkey that scared
jumped
Bond.
out.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I was thinking of another.
Well,
At first it looked like a kookaburra, but it is a monkey. Yeah.
There's so many John Glenn movies. What is it? 5?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think in every one of them is
it's
an example of that. So yeah,
that was. But no, I think I was thinking of I was getting me For Your Eyes Only mixed up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
There is a parrot though.
yeah, there is a parrot later on.
Yeah.
You know, it is the same parrot from For Your Eyes Only.
Really?
Yes,
It's awesome.
and Diana Rigg owned that parrot too.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I thought you said Diana Rigg dubbed.
But anyway, so Bond parachutes right onto a passing cruise ship, and I always love just how Timothy Dalton he like flips down, and he's like I need to use your phone. She'll call you back.
I'm so bored. There's only playboys and tennis players.
And like he calls him. He's like 007 reporting in. You know, I'll be an hour. And she's like, you know, won't you join me? And he's like,
Make that too.
you better make that too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's like, all right, literally one of your other 00
004
agents
just died.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
literally died. He's
Yeah.
dead. Like, this dude was probably like a brother to you. Y'all were part of this.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Bond ain't got no friends besides Bill Tanner.
And Felix Leiter.
Look, I'll give him this much credit. Can you guys picture Sean Connery or Roger Moore in this scene? Like, as soon as he saw the woman, he would have
Forgotten about the
immediately forgot everything. But at
Yes.
least Dalton is like, hey, I need to call my boss. So I'll give him that much.
I'm gonna let my mom know I'm gonna be home late.
Yeah.
But I will say this: this next part, the title sequence, man, this is like one of my favorite title sequences. This song is like, my God, it might be my favorite Bond song. But I'm gonna say this: the alternative Bond song in this movie by the Pretenders, "Where Has Everybody Gone?"
Yeah.
That's like
That's pretty good.
That's
Yeah,
like
it's good. Also good.
top 3 Bond songs to be like.
I forgot how good this song is.
Man,
Dude,
the
it
music in this movie is just
Sure.
so good, and like the score of it, you know, like the
The
action,
instrumental
like
Yes.
the
It is
instrumental of
used
the,
so perfectly.
you know, when it's like a
Yeah,
that part.
yeah.
It's like
whenever Necros is on the job,
just whenever he's
on-
in any scene he's in.
it's perfect.
Yeah, but
You mentioned music. I want to say this before I forget. This was John Barry's last
His last film.
he said working with those pop groups like
Yeah.
Duran Duran and
Yeah.
Aha said it was like terrible. Said
Yeah,
working
I
with-
don't think they got along at all.
not at all. Like and I guess that did that lead to him stopping doing the Bond movies?
I don't know if that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, but I think that was a big reason. But I just wanted to mention that's John Barry's been a mainstay since Dr. No, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's been a few that he wasn't in,
right. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just kind of it's a significant thing to know.
Yeah.
Because I mean he's the one that wrote the Bond theme. So rip John Barry. Actually, I don't know if he's dead, but
well,
He probably did.
as far as the Bond franchise is concerned.
Let me check my notes real quick, you guys. I think I had something I wanted to say about this open title sequence.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really pay that much attention to the visuals, but I will say so. I've said this before, so real quick. I watched this movie right after I finished A View to a Kill last week, and ever since that viewing, that song has popped into my head at least once a day since then.
What, the Duran Duran song or the Living Daylights?
The Living Daylights.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. I watched it after A View to a Kill, and that movie or that title song stuck with me ever since. Now that I'm talking about it, it's coming back. So
I'm gonna be fully honest with you guys. My Spotify Wrapped came in, and that was the #1 song I listened to for the year.
really,
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I burned that song up.
it's a great song.
It is. This movie has like a ton of #1s for me. Like like the movie's #1 for me, but then you have the song is #1 for me. You have the car is #1 for me. Like it's just like all my boxes
Yeah.
in one.
Oh yeah.
But like the song and the title sequence, like I don't know how many James Bond movies there are. Girls on trampolines bounce around naked silhouettes. Like I mean, there's only so many times you can rehash it, but this movie just does it great. And like I have nothing bad I can say about it. I even like the gigantic glass of champagne with a girl in it at the end.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
It's really cool.
I mean, it's
like,
class.
It is class.
Definitely
Like
class.
I want to know what kind of gun she had. Also,
I don't know. We'll have to look. We'll have to look and see.
we'll have to look that up.
So after the title sequence, we get Bond in. We're in Vienna, Austria, correct?
We're at a concert.
Yeah.
I know that much.
No, we're in Czechoslovakia.
That's right, because he's fixing to
Yeah.
defect. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course this is really Fleming right here. We got the Eastern Bloc. We're in a communist country, of course. They're going to be looking in your, in the trunk of your car when you're going across. So one of my favorite all-time scenes of a Bond movie is just Bond standing there with that sniper rifle.
Oh yeah.
That Saunders.
Oh, yeah.
So the character of Saunders. Hold up. Have you read the Living Daylight short story?
Yes, it is my favorite Fleming story.
Yes,
which is why this is probably my favorite Bond movie.
This
short story is in the movie. Like this is the whole movie for me, pretty much.
Yeah. So like,
I know it sounds so lame.
Oh, don't.
I love it, man.
It's Pete Fleming is what it is.
It really is.
So like Bond's standing there, he's got this sniper rifle. It's a Walther WA-2000
Correct.
Sniper rifle, and this is also now. Whenever I think of it, I think of Bond. And I think of one other guy, and that's Agent 47. Because in the original Hitman games, that was his signature rifle.
Really?
Yes. I would whenever I was a kid, and I mean still to this day, I play the Hitman series.
Yeah.
And if you guys never have, I suggest you get it.
I've played a couple of them, and they are very James Bond influenced.
Yes,
yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, of course, now I owe the people that make Hitman.
Yep,
doing the next Bond.
Yep.
So. But anyway,
yeah.
But
it's
anyway,
like it's the perfect
yes,
happy medium.
Yeah.
So we get Bond with the WA-2000. Him and Saunders are up there. Saunders is using the night vision, where
Bond reaches over and turns him on. I love that.
I
part.
love that part too. He was like, all this.
Like, why aren't they working? And Bond he like rolls his eyes.
Well, like before we even get to this sequence, like you have them in the concert house, and like I wanted to bring up Bond and the opera glasses because these are Tasco opera glasses.
Okay,
they're binoculars.
They're awesome as well.
They are awesome. Like they literally fold up and it's a case.
Yeah.
And they, according to the information I read, he was using them upside down. So, so apparently, like in the movie, it's shot and Bond's using them upside down.
It's like you hear people talk about it's like he's using the James Bond method of opera glasses. You know?
So that's how MI6 it's standard procedure.
But the reason I brought up the opera house is because Bond comes in and is late, and it's Saunders is criticizing Bond for dressing up. He's like, it's not a fashion show, a fancy
tea party, or
something like that. So he's hating on, like he's already hating on Bond anyway. So then like they go to the apartment together, and Saunders is still being an asshole to Bond, and Bond's just trying to do the job. So I don't know. At first, I do not like Saunders, and it's the same way for me and Saunders in the book. Like he acts just like he does in the book.
Yeah. But like in the book, Saunders doesn't get the payoff that Saunders does in this movie, because in this movie we realize that Saunders is actually
a good dude.
Actually not always a stickler. And he is a good dude, and he comes in when he's needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And see, in the book, the book version of Saunders is he named Saunders in the book?
I think so.
It's something really similar.
I thought it was.
But yeah, he's just.
I'm sorry if it's not, guys.
I mean, he's just like he said, he's just an asshole in the book.
He's just a real stickler.
Yeah, like
somebody would be a work snitch, I think.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, he definitely was in this.
In this he definitely snitched Bond out. But I mean, I remember this is a scene that I remember being a little kid and being into Bond, and thinking that being Bond would be the coolest thing to do in the world. To be James Bond.
I still think that.
I just remember that scene where Bond's driving the car and Saunders realizes that Bond pretty much took over the operation, and Bond's like, don't worry about it, Saunders. The operation is still officially yours.
Yeah.
And Saunders is like, you deliberately, you betrayed your orders, but you didn't kill her, and he's like, stuff my orders. I only kill professionals.
Yeah.
And he's like, tell him, if he fires me, I'll thank him for it. I remember watching that when I was a kid.
That's so badass.
I was like, man, I can't, like, that dude to not want to be doing his job.
He is too cool for this cool ass job.
I mean, but like, Dalton really kind of gives off the vibe that like this is a dude that like, smokes and drinks because he's got to do some like dirty stuff.
Well, dude, that's what I love about. Maybe you could just give credit to the writers, but man, Dalton just plays it so well.
And really, what Daniel Craig did with the Bond movies, Timothy Dalton was doing that. Back in 1987.
It was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of just they did it too much for the Craig movies.
Yeah, they did.
It's good here because he is. You get the vibe that he's like really fed up with this shit, but at the end of the day, you still feel like he's got some loyalty to the Queen and country.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what
I mean? He gets pissed off by people, but at the end of the day, everybody knows that they can count on him because he's gonna do what needs to be done.
And the Craig movies are like, you think Bond will do this mission? And they look and like, well, I don't think he'll have any personal attachment to any of these people, so no, probably not. You know what I mean? So
then he sleeps with half of them.
Yeah.
But so
I know that wasn't where you're going.
That's okay. That's all right.
I had to get a dig in there.
So Bond has shot the rifle out of the girl's hand. That leads to her getting a scar. And that also leads to Bond getting a kind of M doesn't really get too pissed off at him at this part. He's just like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
And
it says she didn't know one end of the rifle from the other.
And of course, we all whenever Koskov, goes to that club, Bond's got the champagne and the caviar, and first thing they come in, like sit down for like 5 minutes, and then like, all right, we're going back to London. Like Bond just brought all that stuff, like champagne and caviar and stuff.
But before we get there, I would like to mention Bond is wearing that nice dress jacket and everything that he wore to the concert hall. But then whenever he knows he's gonna go use a sniper rifle. He unfolds the collar and covers it up. Yeah. Dude, it is so cool.
That is like.
That is peak Bond right there.
Bond.
I love it.
It is. I do too.
Like, as soon as Saunders saw him do that cool ass shit, he's like, man, I'm not even mad he got dressed up anymore. he's like, I'm just going to shut the hell up.
Dude, I'm glad you went back to that scene because there is one line from Bond here. And I think it's when Saunders tells Bond that Yorgi wanted him to look after him as he runs away. And Timothy looks back at Saunders and he asks, why me? And I don't know what it was about that line or that delivery, but when I saw that, I was like, okay, I can tell that he's actually trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're watching somebody who can actually act.
Yes.
And, it's weird. I guess we just got through watching the Connery movies and the Moore movies. It's just weird seeing an actor take it seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so before we get back to M, Jonathan, one more thing, because I really like what Caleb said about his acting there. I also like his dig at Saunders whenever he's like, sorry, old chap, section blah, blah, blah. He's like, it's a need to know.
Yeah.
Need to know.
Like, that's perfect.
It is.
And then you got the whole, them going through the pipeline and everything, all that stuff. And then he's riding out with Saunders and he's like, well, whoever it was, he's like, I must have scared the living daylights out of her. That is my favorite Bond title drop.
Wait a minute. That's the name of the movie.
Yeah, he said the thing.
He said the thing.
He said the thing.
Hey, he said it.
So I'm sorry I had to go back, but that is my favorite Bond title drop.
I like when Bond says, don't worry, Yorgo, we have a pipeline to the west. And then he looks like guy winks at the camera. I don't know. I just thought that was really funny.
That's funny.
So
speaking of Mooreisms, though, the old pipeline worker girl.
Yep.
It's very Roger Moore.
Yep.
Like Roger Moore would have taken time to sleep with her and then get with Yorgi.
So I want to say this, like the way that Bond just takes over the operation whenever he's in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
Kind of really does show just how much of a Cold War just expert of tradecraft that Bond is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's just can be just like that. Be like, okay, I know a contact at a pipeline, and I'm gonna take him over there.
I was like, get out of the trunk, get in the car.
It's like he knew exactly what to do. And that's the Bond that I like is right there. The one that he knows what to do and he's gonna do what has to be done.
So. This movie, and especially this sequence, it feels like we're actually getting to see Bond work.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like he's not in the Bahamas with
on
babes.
Yeah.
I
feel like in all the Moore movies, it's almost as if Bond goes on vacation and just so happens to, I don't know, just run into a mission. I guess. And I know that's not the case, but that's just how it feels, as opposed to. Like we're actually seeing Bond with a task, and we're getting to see step by step, him doing his work. And I don't know. I really appreciated that about this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, you see, his effort he puts in, and he knows his business. Mm-hmm. So it just makes it even better for me. And I agree, Caleb.
Have you guys ever heard the term? I think it's competence porn. It's where. I know it's stupid.
No, I mean it makes sense.
But it's where you go on Reddit or YouTube, and it's people that are so competent at their job that even something really mundane looks interesting because they're doing it so well. That's Bond.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. But
so if I'm jumping ahead, forgive me, but I wanted to mention this when Yorgi makes it to the or when he makes it across the border and arrives to where MI6 retrieves him, we get to see this is our first glimpse at Q in this movie. And he's really starting to show his age. And it made me really sad. Because he runs up the steps and there's a shot of him. I think he's like looking at the Harrier jet that's fixing to take Yorkie. And he's sitting there panting like out of breath. And I was like, oh man, he's getting old.
Yeah, but he's getting old, but man, the Q sequence,
they're great.
This movie,
Yeah, they are.
Is like
They are good.
Hey, it's top tier.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Pete Bond,
Yeah.
Q sequence
For sure.
Hey, call it a
Ghetto blast.
Like he was so excited about
He
that.
really was, man.
Like, it's so funny. That is like in the Bond fandom. That is something I hear people say all the time. Is a ghetto blast.
I wish
The Americans are gonna love that.
I wish that scene would have been a little bit longer. And Q had some more lines of I'm good. Q had some more lines of dialogue. I wish he would have said something like, "I've been trying to get the British government to fund this for my whole career here at MI6, and they finally gave me the money today." The ghetto blast.
Ghetto blast. So while we're in this scene, I'm sorry. So while we're in this scene, 007 comes in and they're working on the car, right? In this scene.
Yeah,
Like
they put the roof on.
Which they said they're winterizing the car. I don't get how that works or whatever, but it's fine. But then Q hits his head and 007's like, "Mind your head, Q." I think it's so funny.
I can definitely it's almost as if so we really touched on how Roger Moore was a complete dick to Q. And it seems like the relationship here is more it's closer to how Brosnan and Q interacted.
Very much like Q is like, this is my buddy James Bond. We've grown since the 60s. We're now pretty good friends,
Right. I feel like if this had been more entering the scene here and he said, watch your head, dumbass. Q would have been like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, but I mean, like even in License to Kill, I think we see the relationship between Q and Bond reach an all-time high. I mean, to the point where you see like Bond even tells Q, he says, "Hey, you're a hell of a field operative."
Yeah.
Remember that part whenever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that just always stood out.
I think it just takes it to new levels whenever they're sharing a hotel room together.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, just how. I guess that really does.
It's mundane, but it shows I don't know. It's something I appreciate.
If it had been more, Q was like, "Oh, if you don't mind, I booked us a room together." Moore would have said, "Actually, I do mind."
No, Roger Moore would have just slept with.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And Connery would have just beat the shit out of him on the couch.
The couch.
You remember when Connery and the twice picked up was picking up?
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
He's talking about. He was biting the wrong bad.
Every time Michelle and I watch that movie, I have to laugh at that. Anyway.
I want to say one thing. The joke that Colton told on that podcast. He goes, the filmmakers had to go through each set and bolt all the furniture down. Oh my god, that was so funny. Okay. So back to License to Daylight.
So in this scene, we're introduced to a new Moneypenny, and I think she's gorgeous. We don't get enough time with her for sure.
Seriously, I love this Moneypenny.
So
I always thought she was really sexy.
Yeah, she's definitely sexy.
Is she in License to Kill too?
Yes.
Okay.
Very briefly.
Man, it sucks that she didn't get to carry over to the Brosnan era. And it's not because I don't like the Moneypenny in those movies, but I do like her.
I love Caroline Bliss.
Yeah, I think it is just a shame that they didn't do more with her. And I really like her and Tim's interactions together. He takes her glasses off and he puts them back on her face, messed up.
Yeah.
And he slaps her on the ass.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
We don't ever see him slap on that. It's implied.
No, you clearly hear him smack her on the ass. It is loud.
Yep.
But it's not even bad. Like it's not like degrading. Like you can tell she's into it.
Yeah, most definitely. Like she's fawning over him, man. Like
I want you guys to imagine this scene with Lois Maxwell.
Like Timothy Dalton, like 42 years old, Lois Maxwell, like 61, like
the things I do for Britain.
You're Bond off screen. That's wrong. I like Lois Maxwell.
I do too.
That was
She was
wrong.
a great one.
That was not. That wasn't
Anyway,
funny.
getting back to
I think we skipped the whole dinner sequence and Necros and all that. So you got Bond pulling up to the gate in the Aston Martin, and the guy working the gate's like, "Good morning, 007," and Bond doesn't say shit.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Like he is just a dick to that guy. He's like,
So
007 coming through.
I didn't catch that the first time I watched it after Vito killed it. The other night, I noticed that. I was like, wait a minute, at least look at him. You just give him a nod.
It's so funny. I'm sorry.
I can see more doing that.
Yeah, I
you just
could.
don't
Like,
have a good opinion of more, do you?
No, I do.
I like Roger Moore.
I do too, but he's such
He's
an
a dick.
asshole.
But yeah, like I really do like this sequence, like with Koskov getting kidnapped.
The kitchen fight sequence is the best fight in the movie.
Yeah, there's some brutal action going on.
Yeah, like that was an actual thought out, like choreographed fight scene.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're maybe in like a Connery era movie. The bad guy would have walked in and like judo chopped him. You know what I mean? And I don't say that like digging at the older movies. Like for the time that was fine, but to actually see like this fleshed out fight scene where this security guy is actually holding his own, it was pretty cool.
It's advanced, really.
Yeah,
because I don't think he's a security guy. I think he's an agent.
Yeah,
like for sure.
Some type of
field operative or
like
something.
Like a national security agent.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I meant. Like
it's okay. I didn't mean it in like a bad way.
Yeah, no, I got you. But like I mean like he's Secret Service, but he's like he's with them. Yeah.
Like he ain't made it to 00 status.
Right.
It's just kind of like a field operative or something.
And so like while we're talking about Necros in this fight, like whenever Necros steals the milk truck, like he's jogging and he's listening to music, he speaks in an American accent, and the milk truck driver's like, "Bloody Yanks."
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, he totally like made that guy not pay any attention to him because he thought he was American. So he's like, he completely brushed him off, and then the dude comes back and kills him.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I read one time, and take this with a grain of salt, but I read that this is what inspired the Hitman character was Necros.
No,
like,
kidding.
I
can see that.
The disguising.
Yeah.
Because you can change clothes in Hitman.
Well, dude, like his disguises are all like he's wearing something basic white and he's just got something over it.
Yeah.
So like he's just peeling layers off, and it's so great.
It's really convenient that he found a milk truck with exploding milk bottles, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that milk was expired.
Well, it's too much ammonium nitrate than what they're feeding the cows.
Is it what it was supposed to? I always thought that must be like nitroglycerin or something. You know what I mean? Because that stuff, it'll blow. That's the only thing I could think it would be.
I'm totally glad you had a more scientific thought process than I did.
Well,
I just thought it was spoiled milk.
Well,
yeah.
I used to watch a lot of recipes, and like they'd use nitroglycerin to like blow up banks and stuff. So
right,
but yeah, like I do love that whole area. The only thing is, we need Bond in there, Walther PPK out, fighting through.
I mean, if he was, Necros would have died.
Yeah.
He might have. Go ahead.
Now, in the Living Daylights computer game.
The what now?
The Living Daylights computer game.
Hold on.
You do play.
Get on eBay. I gotta buy it. No, go ahead.
I will show it to you in next podcast if I can remember.
Okay. What did it run
on? Like ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPU. Just a bunch of them.
Can I boot it up on my Commodore 64?
That might be a Commodore 64.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, like I can't. I think I have the ZX Spectrum version of it. We'll have to have an episode where we all show our Bond games because I have like a bunch of obscure Bond game.
I'd love to
you
see
know
it.
what's wild? I bet you could go to Walmart and get the cheapest digital watch off the shelf and run that game.
Probably.
But yeah, like
I'm kind of glad Bond wasn't there to save the day because I really enjoyed getting to see Necros
He's just
own
the whole movie.
Yeah,
Like he's a competent villain.
Yeah,
yes, like he is definitely in. He could stand up against.
He's a modern Red
odd
Grant.
job or he's a modern Red Grant. Yes,
yeah. I would love to see him and Red Grant.
I don't know if I've said it
For sure.
in older episodes, but Red Grant is my favorite Bond. Henchman, like by far, like
purely deserved.
And Necros, I would say, might be my second or third favorite.
I think I would like Necros more if he wasn't wearing them boots at the end of the movie.
What?
The boots? Well, I'll tell you at the end of this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Of course, this whole thing looks like a complete blunder to British intelligence, and of course, we get the Defense Minister Frederick Gray. He's all like, "We're the laughing stock of the intelligence community," it's like that is like his catchphrase. Is that like the Prime Minister have our guts for garters?
I love Frederick Gray.
He just. I just think it's funny just listening to him, but so pretty much
it is great. It's great delivery.
It's
perfect. So M pretty much tells Bond, "Hey, you need to go kill Pushkin," and Bond's like,
"I don't want to kill Pushkin."
Bond's all like, "I don't think he's actually psychotic." M,
this thing kind of just made M look dumb.
Yeah, like it really made him look like just naive, like played right into the part. And Bond's like, "Hold up, I think we might need to like not do this." But I like the part, and this is like one of my favorite things about Timothy Dalton's Bond is whenever Timothy Dalton said M says something like, "I'll get 008 to do it."
He's not as attached.
He doesn't go on
instinct,
and Bond's like, no. If it has to be done, I'd rather do it. Like that right there to me, like that is just
told me on Timothy Dalton.
That is Timothy Dalton being like, if this dude's gotta die, then I'm gonna do him I'm gonna do it.
Make sure it's done right.
Yes. Yeah. Like I just always thought that was like one of the most just like badass things.
This scene would have like hit a whole lot harder if it had been Gogol.
Oh God, if it had been Gogol, man, just imagine that. Like imagine, even from not just the Bond standpoint, but like imagine M that being like, doing that.
You gotta go kill Gogol.
Yeah, and like M having, been buddies with Gogol
for years now.
Years now.
I want y'all to consider this though. Okay, so what if it had been Gogol? Wouldn't that kind of spoil the ending, like right there? Because, like, as an audience, we would know, like, right offhand, like, okay, of course he's not, behind this.
Well, right? I mean, that's what you would think. But, like, if they have set up for the past 4 movies that Gogol was an ally, and now he was flip-flopping.
Yeah,
that's one way of looking at it, sure.
Like, that was the thing that I think would make it so good, because, like, you're like, now you have Bond seriously going to take out Gogol.
Yeah.
The entire hotel sequence having Gogol on his knees, like a Bond about to kill him.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you would have been like, oh my God, he's about to kill Gogol.
Yeah, because you would have been thinking the whole time, like, okay, yeah, obviously he's not, he's not behind this. And then when you get to that scene, it would like convey like, oh shit,
Bond's about to kill
this guy. Actually going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would. I think it would have been better.
I think so too, just because of the emotional connection.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we get Bond taking the Aston Martin out for a spin, and he goes to where are we? We're back in
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. I will say this. I really do like that it's in Czechoslovakia. I think that's a very Cold War nation, because I mean that does not exist anymore. That split into 2 different countries, But yeah, so Bond goes and watches a young lady perform. Of course, it is the girl with the rifle. and then he follows her back to her house, and Bond just walks in, and he's just like looking around. He's like, KGB made made quite a mess, just like just like playing right into like how he needed to go on. So he's pretty much Bond knows that he can't fully trust Koskov. He knows Koskov was a little bit fishy. So this is why he's playing this lead, because he's like, I know my boy Pushkin isn't really doing this, so I'm gonna play this lead. So Bond establishes himself as a friend of Koskov and befriends the girl.
Well, she says, "Are you a friend of Yorgis?" And he says,
"We've been through a lot.
We've been through a lot together." He never once says they're friends. It's just so I love that he doesn't outright lie.
That's a good point.
Yes, I like that too, Colton. I'm glad you brought that up.
I also like whenever he goes and gets her cello case and gets the rifle and sees that the rifle had blanks.
Yes, like
that shows you that it was a setup.
I like the part when they're down in the bathroom, like
those guys are looking at
it like he's weird. Like Bond's got the rifle out, and he's like, he's doing the bolt, and you can hear the bullets, and everybody's like stopping and like looking around, like
dude was sweeping.
Yeah,
it was like what's going on?
Yeah, and then he's like, show number 2, who's full.
But yeah, like
who's number 2 working for?
Yeah, yes. But like some of just the way, some of the writing in this movie, and just the way Dalton delivers it. He comes in and he looks at her and he says, "I threw the gun in the river." I just like the way that was written, and just the way Dalton.
Well, he's taking control of the room. She had some power, and any power she had, he just immediately took it away from her.
Like just being straight up with her, So of course we do get them playing a little trick by putting her cello case in the telephone box.
So smart.
Getting away in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. This is
beautiful.
This is my Bond car.
Yes, mine too. I remember being a little boy, me and my dad watching The Living Daylights on VHS in this scene, and me thinking this was like the coolest car. Like this was, I put this on the same level as the DB5, and like the DB5 has always been my car, but this right here, like the DB5, this car, and the V12 Vanquish from Die Another Day.
Okay,
I think are the 3
iconic Bond cars.
My God, I guess the Lotus too. You'd have to.
You can't say that bad about
that. But yeah, this is just a decade defining car.
Oh yeah,
like me, it's just like it's like a really nice blend of a muscle car and an exotic car.
Yes.
Yeah. Like perfect. Yeah. Like, there's no better way to describe that.
Yeah, that's a very good description. And I love the outriggers on it. I love the gadgets of it.
Before we keep going with the car, dude. I know it's cold outside. They did not have to give Timothy Dalton so much drip in this scene. Like, he shows up wearing that leather jacket.
Yes.
Like he is pulling Michael Knight vibes right now. This is like straight up. This is a straight up Knight Rider.
He's got like the leather jacket over a sweater.
A sweater. Like it is. He looks so cool.
Yes.
To me, he pulls off like we've seen the casual Bond attire before, and to me, he pulls those outfits off better than the tuxedo.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like I totally agree.
And I really like the scene where what's the Bond girl's name? I'm spacing on her name right now.
Well, I love her, but I can't remember her name either.
Yeah, man, what?
Oh my God!
Okay, man, this is bad because she's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, man. Like one of my favorites too. Like I'm just like spacing.
Okay,
Cara.
Yeah,
you look it up.
Cara Malovey.
Oh, it's Cara. Okay,
yeah,
that's right. Dude, how could we?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like, had a strong.
I always loved this.
Yeah,
Bond girl, dude. Like,
real quick, I love that she tells Bond that she forgot her cello. And he's like,
we're not going back.
And he's like, you're dreaming. We're not going back. And then the hard cuts to them or Bond waiting in the car. And that's
the funniest thing,
dude. You can, but man, it just really speaks to his character.
It says so much.
Like, Yeah, I really like that scene.
See,
a lot.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The way that they play those two, dude,
They play off each other really well. They have
Yes.
great chemistry.
Like the way Roger Moore and Maud Adams and Octopussy was Bond and Octopussy.
Yeah.
The way I could see them getting together, I could totally see Timothy Dalton's Bond and Cara Malovey.
Yeah.
Actually getting feelings for each other. I mean, they just. She's like so just like naive, and like he's
but
like
still competent.
yeah, and he's like kind of like veteran,
Yeah.
like it's just I mean it's just I just think they really do they play very well together.
They complement each other well.
The movie does a really good job of establishing some sort of
Relationship.
I won't say romance yet, but like you can tell Bond cares for her.
Yeah. But like, and you can tell he might be getting a little bit attached to her,
Well, just that little detail there, just going back to get the cello. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, whenever the car blows up later on, he said, "I'm so glad I forced you to go back and get the cello."
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's so funny.
Oh, let's talk about the car chase for a minute because I do love this sequence. I got two little gripes. Y'all can probably guess what they are. It's Bond in the old barn.
Dude, I love the ball.
I love the ball.
It's
so
okay.
stupid.
I do like it, but it is a little hokey.
It's very hokey.
It's very Roger Moore.
The part that I really don't like is Bond cutting the perfect circle out for that cop car. Look, I do think that in itself is cool. I think the execution wasn't that great.
Fair enough.
But oh crap, I forgot what my whole point was. But and also the laser when he cuts the car in half, and
it would have cut both the tires.
I know, and he says, I love that he says he looks at the car and goes
salt corrosion.
Salt corrosion. Like, what are you gonna do? But real quick, I remember what I was gonna say. So he opens up the center console with all the his controls, and up until this point, he's trying to play everything off as if
he's a normal guy.
Like he picks up the police band. Must be an atmospheric anomaly.
Yeah.
Salt corrosion. Amazing this modern safety glass. And then he opens up the center console and he keeps like trying to play stuff off, and it's like, dude, she gets it at this point.
Yeah,
like
she's not stupid.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You ain't gotta keep on like with BS.
Yeah,
he's just doing it for the camera at that point.
Oh yeah.
But
I want to bring up the heads-up display in the car. It is so refreshing, and it's so cool to see something like that in this car.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I don't know which came out first. I'm sure Knight Rider was mid-80s. I know that, right?
Yeah.
So this is obviously
sometime in the 80s.
I think this is after Knight Rider has come out. But like the heads-up display in the car, man, whenever he goes and turns the missiles on and everything, I was like, it is so Knight Rider, except it's turned up to 10. Like, it's way cooler than Knight Rider could ever be for me. And I like Knight Rider,
Yeah,
but
I like Knight Rider too.
Like, the vibes are just great. Oh, you're good.
But yeah, like I like this part. The only part I hate is seeing my car blew up, man.
Dude, I was pissed.
Yeah, but I will say this: I love how they brought this car back from No Time to Die.
I do too. Even though
it's
very underused.
Yeah,
very underused. But I was just thankful to see something besides the DB5 being drove.
Yeah.
One day I'll get my BMWs coming back.
No, hell no. They better not.
Man, you know what I just realized? You in No Time to Die, you get to see the DB5 and the what is this one called?
The Vantage.
Yeah, the Vantage. I think this is the first movie we get to see both of those cars in the same movie.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It is a nice that's I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. The only reason I watched No Time to Die was because of that car. But I don't know. There was something else I want to say about the car. They're shooting mortars with tanks, and a mortar gets this close to the car, and the car doesn't shake. There's no I mean, I know it's just a movie. That was just something I thought I would call out. Like if that had gone off right to the car, like the car would like got picked up off the ground, like a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, you would think they would add some sort of like reaction shot, but
which I'm sure was just difficult for the time.
But yeah, this the cello chase, like I love this. This is just like, to me, that it's awesome. I love it.
So it's I used to not like it, but after seeing all the Roger Moore movies, it doesn't bother me anymore.
This is like it's one of my favorite like sequences in a Bond movie, man. Like I love it.
well, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like you kind of have to have these little hokey moments at this point in time, right?
Yeah,
because it's kind of what the series is known for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of like you. It doesn't bother me that
it
much.
used to. I would like to say that like whenever the Outriggers popped out on the car, I was like, not another damn movie with Bond ski.
Oh man, it would have been so good. All right, so the car blows up, and one of the skis like gets blown toward Bond, and he picks it up, and he's like, well, "Good luck, Cara." Gets on the ski and skis away with a machine gun. That's what we needed.
Beach Boys playing the whole time.
Never mind.
Anyway,
007 thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I like how whenever they go under the what's it called, the border, they cross the border into Austria, and so like they throw the cello up.
Oh, sorry.
And they duck to go underneath it, and she flashes them their
his passport.
the passport.
Says we have nothing to declare.
Cello. Like it echoes.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I do like that.
So we pick up in Austria, and they have hitched a ride with on a truck, you know, and so they get out of that and they go to a hotel, and of course Bond already knows the people at the hotel, and they get him a room.
Bond calls Universal Exports here and tells them he needs tickets for that night's show too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool because I like calling out all the Universal Exports. So
and I'm glad you brought that up because I've been meaning to ask Jonathan. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention, but I don't recall them ever referring to or mentioning Universal Exports in the Craig movies. I don't think they did.
I know it's on a business card that he gives in Quantum of Solace.
Okay.
I know it's on that.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, let me study on it. I need to do a rewatch of Craig's movies because
it's not relevant to this.
Well,
movie.
I mean, we're about to. Yeah, we ain't got too far to go, guys.
It's been a minute since I've watched several of them. Like,
but every time we do one of these podcasts where Universal Exports is brought up, I'll think about it, and I'm always curious if there was that. See, I didn't even know that about Quantum. I never picked that up.
And also on his on the card, his name is Roger Sterling, which is also the same pseudonym Bond uses in The Spy Who Loved Me to Stromberg.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Nice. It's pretty cool. Like,
that's awesome.
It's a very blink and you miss it thing. Like,
well, that's one thing I will say I'll give the Craig movies credit for. And by me saying that, you might think that I don't like them. I do. But it's almost like don't forget where you came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I like the Craig movies, but at the same time, I don't like them. I don't know, it's like, it's like I like them, but at the same time, I really like the classic series better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what they could do, and I would be fine with, for Bond 26?
Go back to the Brosnan universe.
Literally pick up right after Die Another Day, and like bring back...
And just pretend the Craig era never happened?
Yes, like bring back... you could even bring back Jinx, bring back Michael Madsen, the CIA dude.
Yeah.
I mean, bring back John Cleese.
Bring back Judi Dench.
Yes, like I mean, some people listening to this might think I'm crazy, but
I don't think you are.
I mean, like seriously, I'd be fine with
bring back Pierce Brosnan.
Yes,
dude.
Like,
honestly,
let him do one more.
Dude.
Honestly, like
I would love that.
Yes,
but he's still healthy.
Like have Brosnan come back, do one at least.
Have Timothy Dalton play M.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Like, but have Brosnan do like one, and then they could have like another character come in and could just pick up right where Brosnan left off. You know, we didn't need a whole reboot, just like they do back in the day. You know what I mean? I would be fine with that. But anyway, back to back to the Living Daylights. Sorry, I got really off.
That was really interesting, though. I like your idea.
Thanks. I appreciate that for real. Like,
I'm totally on board for that.
That is what I truly do wish that. I think we would get the biggest variety of cool, different
movies going
different
forward.
kind of movies if it was like that. If we just had a blank slate every time and it wasn't part of a.
It'd be easier to recast going forward.
Yes,
like everybody's gonna be mad about the next Bond anyway.
Yep. But I mean, we had it perfect back in the day.
We did.
We really did. But before we were born. But I mean,
it was the same way with Batman.
Yeah. Let me say this one thing, and then we'll go back to the movie. I promise. But it got so exhausting. Like in Casino Royale, maybe not that one, but like Quantum of Solace, and then Skyfall. Like at the end of each of those movies, it's like the filmmakers were telling us, okay, now it's the James Bond that you know, and he's gonna have all these adventures like he did before, and then the next movie picks up and it's like, oh fuck, here we go. It's another personal vendetta.
Yeah, it's like I like literally Bond goes rogue.
I'm a rogue agent.
Like Bond goes rogue once every movie of the Craig era. Like
spoilers for our listeners who haven't seen any of the Craig movies.
I mean, guys, Bond going rogue is not like even a big deal anymore.
It's not.
It's just like that's that thing he does in every
Tuesday.
You imagine some new agent in M's office, like, oh my god, did he just quit? Oh yeah,
it's like
doing it twice a week. Look, they move a painting. This is where he punched a hole in the wall. Bond's pretty much the Kyle of Universal Exports.
He's a little moody,
but
so it's not a phase in him.
But anyway, like
dead parents.
Okay, all right.
Sorry. That was a Batman reference for anybody who didn't get it.
No, I think we got it.
So we got Bond and Cara. They go to the opera.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they go to the opera, and Bond runs into Saunders there, and he tells Saunders he needs a passport for Cara because he's trying to get her out of the country. And
hey, you know what? One of my favorite things that me and Dakota Franks would say to each other.
What's that?
It's like a Bond's talking about the girl with the cello to Saunders, and Saunders like the KGB sniper, and Bond's like she's not a KGB sniper, she's Koskov's girlfriend. You know, like just that. I remember I was just
he's so vehemently against it, and Saunders is like she's a sniper.
And like I remember like. We would be like working at Walmart or something, and I just go up to him and be like, "She's not a KGB sniper. She's just out of the blue, like it would just be like Bond references all night.
Imagine if a customer overheard you.
It's like what? But like really any line that he says Koskov in, me and Dakota used to like say like where's Koskov?
Yeah,
like just. But
it rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It does.
It's a very Bondian name to be saying like so what do you guys think about whenever we see the end of Saunders?
Dude, it makes me so mad. Like I love this scene with Bond and Cara on the Ferris wheel, but like Bond saw Saunders down there. He saw Necros. He doesn't know who Necros is, but he saw Necros go after Saunders. Like, instead, he's just like, you know what? I'm going to bang this chick on the top of this Ferris wheel.
But I don't think he realized, like...
He didn't think Saunders was in danger.
Yeah.
He was just like, Saunders can wait.
But it's frustrating as the
viewer.
As the viewer, like, get out of the Ferris wheel, Bond, go
save your guy that you don't think he's your buddy yet, but he's about to be your buddy for 5 seconds.
It's like he's about to be like literally the best friend you ever had in your whole life.
I know. He finally like redeems himself.
Yeah, he realizes Bond isn't an asshole.
Yeah.
So he's not an asshole to Bond anymore.
But pretty much Saunders kind of has a realization like, okay, I'm doing my job and this guy's doing his job and we're doing it our own way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we both got our own
fight
way.
each other.
Yeah, like honest to God, even though nobody ever talks about Saunders, like Saunders is probably one of my favorite Bond allies. Like,
yeah, sure. I really like him
just because of his arc.
Yeah,
dude, I could have a whole movie of just him and Bond like doing an assignment together.
He does have a little bit of an arc, and like it. I hate that it is so abruptly ended.
Yes,
but it kind of had to be.
it had to be. But I like the guy that plays Saunders.
Yeah,
I did too.
Pretty good actor. Like, I
Real
don't know
quick.
his name, but
So, was that like a common thing? So, this is 85, right?
87.
Oh, 87, sorry. Okay, so, maybe those automatic sliding doors were new, and they wanted to put the mechanism on display. So, like, was that a thing?
I have no idea.
Well,
Because I was when I first,
this is in a touristy area,
Yeah.
so it was probably one of the first automatic
that's,
doors.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm. That's
And
what I'm
it
thinking.
looks pretty high quality too.
Yeah,
Like, these are actual like glass pane.
I mean, that was like hydraulic for sure.
Like, I mean, it was.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is like I wanted to gripe about this scene, like, oh, how convenient that the mechanics were
Yeah.
exposed so he could put that bomb there. But I was like, well, this is 87. That's sort of that, it strikes me as like something that could have been like a newer thing back then, and they wanted to show people like how it worked.
Maybe so.
Like, I buy that.
Yeah.
Either that or the building was brick, right?
Yeah,
Some kind
I
of
think
stone.
so.
Maybe that was just how they had to have the panel to access it to work on it.
Yeah, like A's
Yeah, like
access.
Yeah.
maintenance panels.
Yeah.
That's what it was then.
Yeah, that's
Probably. Now, with that being said, man, that was a brutal death.
dude.
Yeah, like
It makes me so mad.
yeah, like I mean, this is that moment when you're like, man, Necros is gonna
He's gonna die.
he's
I
gonna
love-
die. Like,
I love Bond's reaction,
Dude,
I love
he's
it.
so
Like,
pissed.
It's just like he's so mad, and like then he just looks over and he's got this balloon with that word on it, and it just
Spill them.
like
Yeah.
I mean, guys, you just wouldn't see Roger Moore having that. I mean, like
That
like,
visceral anger.
Yes,
Well,
but
I
like-
mean,
Like I could feel it through the screen. I was like, "Oh shit!"
well,
Like,
you guys have to look at it like this. This is a Bond that has been the most calm, cool, and collected the whole movie.
the most
Yeah.
professional.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and he's fixing to lose his shit.
this is the only
Right.
time he loses his cool, and then he pulls a gun on a kid and a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was gonna bring that up too. So he's like in this blind rage.
Yeah.
And then he jumps over that bush and pulls out his Walther and points at that kid and he's like, "Oh shit.
What have I done?"
Like, what am
Yes.
I doing?"
Yeah,
Like,
you're
okay,
getting a little bit too
let's
wild. Like,
let's
you know,
bring it back to center.
yeah.
And so
Which it is a completely justified reaction.
it is. But in that moment, we're also about where he pulls a gun out, it's like he snaps out of
He
it.
catches him.
Yeah, it's like, okay, what is Connery saying, Goldfinger? Discipline 007. Discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy
Great sequence.
Dalton is a great actor.
For sure.
So we also get to see Bond and Kara have a little bit of some,
Tension.
tension here because
Yes, I got the message.
like I love the way he delivered
Yeah.
it. He said, "Yes." With the like just so
He's pissed.
yeah. That's it.
Definitely
So,
pissed.
so the next time we see Bond, he's now in Tangier, and he's
I love the instrumental music here.
yeah.
Like as he's sitting in the car.
Mm.
And also what Bond is wearing for these next couple sequences.
Yes.
Like he's got the Roger Moore tan suit here.
Mm.
But like as you get in like the next couple of scenes, he's wearing some straight up Indiana Jones clothes.
Yeah.
And he looks
Great.
a lot like he looks great. And I was starting to think like maybe they cast him because he looks kind of like Harrison Ford.
Sure.
Dalton definitely has that rugged,
Yeah.
handsome look.
Yeah.
He does.
I really do. I've heard some people talk a little bit bad about some of the clothing choices.
Really?
Nothing could be worse than some of the shit Roger wore.
Honestly, I think every outfit that he has in this movie, I think is awesome.
Great.
Even when he's just wearing he's got like that tan, not the tan suit, but like just a tan like zip up jacket, just
Yeah.
Yeah, like the sports, like the windbreaker.
yeah.
I'm almost certain my dad has that jacket.
Probably.
Like, I remember when I watched this movie as a kid thinking, like, hey, that's my dad's
That's
jacket.
that jacket. But yeah, so he's in Tangier. I like how the people come over and Bond's like, paying him money just to get on
Yeah,
out
he's
here.
like-
Yeah.
I think that is very in character. I mean, Bond's not going to be the kind of person who's going to be a tourist, is going to be like, yeah, I'm going to pay you. Bond's like, I'm going to pay you to get on out,
Right.
Because I don't.
I'm
need
working.
You.
Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing my own thing. And of course, this is when Bond is going to confront General Gogol. So, well, I mean, not General Gogol,
General
Pushkin. Sorry, I was as much as we've talked about Gogol.
We really want it to be Gogol.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get. This is like some. I mean, I'll be straight with you. These are some cold scenes here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we get Bond inside, the room, and Pushkin comes in, and then Bond comes out, and Pushkin activates his watch,
His life alert.
His life
He's
alert.
signaling his security guard.
So we see
He's
Bond.
sending secret messages.
So
Oh no, he's falling and he can't get up.
So at this point, Bond knows that security guard is gonna come. So
Right.
Bond.
That was
Pistol
damn
whips.
stupid.
Yeah. And it's not even like he's. It's not like he's furious with him. It's just like.
It's like,
he's like, I'm trying.
like
you're making me do this.
Like yes, like
Yeah.
exactly. Like I'm disappointed that I've got to do this,
Yeah.
and you're not letting me. So he pistol whips him, and then like I'm gonna be straight with you, man. I remember as a kid, and I mean I had a very lighthearted view of Bond whenever I was a kid. I remember being a little boy and thinking this scene where he like rips her clothes off.
It makes you uncomfortable.
I mean, like I remember thinking like, man, that is like some
Brutal. It's
psychotic stuff.
yeah. Like I mean, even to this day, like that right there. See, Daniel Craig's Bond couldn't do nothing like that. This is like, I mean,
It's cold.
I don't know if we ever get a scene like that. Even in License to Kill, we don't get anything like that.
Scenes like this, and like you even hear Pushkin say something to this effect. Is like you have to, like you're not just a killer.
Yeah.
Like you do things with reason.
Yeah.
So when he rips her clothes off, I'm like, yeah, it's fucked up, but like this has got to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The reason he's doing it is to distract dude coming in. I mean, I
it's a
see
diversion.
Yeah, but it's just like, man, that is. I think that is probably either that or Electra King getting killed by Bond has got to be one of the coldest things I've seen. Cold. I mean, not even just cold, just like
It's just
shady.
It's impersonal.
Yes.
I mean,
It dehumanizes.
yeah,
Yeah.
dehumanizing.
Yes.
Yeah. He's very robotic.
It's
here.
like he turns into like
like
this. Her Majesty's blunt instrument at this
Yes.
point. Like
he is running on basic instinct.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what? I think we actually struck gold on this topic, guys. I think we talked about something that not a lot of other people talk about whenever they go over this movie.
Well, it's
It's an important scene for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Like from a cinematography standpoint, like it's good because you see the point of view behind her, and you see the security guard come in.
You know what's happening, basically.
Yeah, like you see the setup Bond. You see what Bond set up. Like it wasn't for like a gratuitous nude scene.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't for no purpose. Like you see why he went to those lengths to take out the security guard easier.
And like, Bond's got he takes the security guard out. He's got a Pushkin on his knees, and Pushkin's like, like, do you trust Koskov? And Bond's like, if I trusted Koskov, we wouldn't be talking. Like, if I really trusted him, I'd done killed you days ago.
For
we
real.
wouldn't even be having this conversation because you'd be dead.
Also, we need to talk about the fact that it's Rubovich.
Yeah.
Like it's Rubovich. It's Gogol's money penny here
Yeah.
that Bond is doing this to.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's like a big deal too.
God, that would have been something too, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
could you imagine somebody doing that to Moneypenny?
Yeah,
like
And M?
yeah, for real.
these fun, light-hearted characters being
like brutally treated,
brutalized.
Yeah, like a.
But you were saying how important this subject was, I guess, or that not a lot of people talk about, but it is important here because we're coming off such a, again, light-hearted take on Bond
The view
to
this.
It's like
it's definitely a different world,
Yes, it is, and I'm gonna tell you guys, like I told my wife, the feeling that I got after watching this movie. I said to her, I was like, I feel like this movie is like if you had gone into a Fleming novel like Mario 64 style, like where you jump into the paintings. Like if you were to jump into that novel like that, and you looked at Bond and the universe, this is it. So yeah,
If this movie was black and white, it would set the tone perfectly.
yeah, set in the 60s, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You wouldn't get a lot of the good cinematography we get in the third act of the film if it was all black and white. But
yeah,
like the feel of this movie, like the dark, the grittiness, like I mean it's broken up with humor, but like you're getting a lot out of this movie that you didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that I don't think most people even receive for the movie. I think they just brush it off.
Yeah. So I felt, and we discussed this earlier, but it's like people went into this movie expecting a fun action adventure, which for the most part it is.
Yeah.
But these color sequences that we're talking about, where we see Bond being this blunt instrument, people weren't ready for it, man. Like,
moving on, we get a Bond fake shooting. Well, I mean, he not even fake shooting.
No,
he actually did shoot him.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a scene that shows how badass Bond is. I mean, Pushkin put all of his faith into Bond here, not to kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To actually hit the blood packets. And of course Bond did that. And the accompanying scene after this, we get Bond.
Well, when he shoots the light out in
Yes.
front of Necros, like that's like straight out of the
gun barrel.
The gun barrel.
That's the pose.
That's the pose.
Yeah.
So like,
hey, that is beautiful as well.
I love that. Like,
I love that shot.
It's so great.
It is
I
a
love
perfect
that shot.
So Bond is running off, and we get some of the cops, trying to hold up him. And what?
Chasing him on the rooftops.
Yes.
Like he's running back and forth with that one lady in the basket.
So
what was that?
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
I don't know why he was making it so hard for her on her own roof.
It's like
Bond just being a dick.
Hey, cops, stop shooting for a second. And kicks the laundry basket over.
I know you've been folding this for 6 hours, and your husband's probably gonna come home drunk in a little bit and beat you.
Hey, you see Timothy Dalton like that old bitch.
Dude, I love when he grabs the antenna and
straight out of
Yes.
Roger Moore.
it is, but it also works
It's
here.
smart. It's
It
smart.
works here.
It's smart.
So of course they did have that deleted scene where it was a
Flying
flying
Yeah,
carpet.
man,
I
I'm
wish
glad
they
they.
would.
I'm glad they didn't.
No, I wish they would have.
I think it would have been too much.
Look,
I love it.
We-
and those guys were smoking, and that one guy said, "I told you that was good stuff." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Man, look, we got our Roger Moore gag out of the way during the car scene. No more. We don't need a magic carpet. We don't need
The only the only way I would have accepted that is that they played the Magic Carpet Ride song.
Yeah. So
I didn't mean to mess you up.
no, you're good,
I'm
dude.
sorry.
So this next scene, we get Bond and Kara. They're talking, and she shakes a martini up for Bond.
He says, "Oh, you remembered."
Yeah, and he's all like acting all
Excited.
suave and having, and turns out it's got a chloral hydrate in it, and I love how Bond knows what he's been poisoned with. That's another thing. We know that, he's a veteran of the game.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I know what I've done. I know my era of my ways. I haven't trusted her. I mean, like I have trusted her, and I shouldn't have been.
Well, also, like you see Bond's moment of humanity here too. Like before he even realized he had been drugged, he was
fixing
come
to
clean with her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he was.
That was the saddest part, is because like you see that Bond's trying to be a good person, because he probably realized he had been really cold with her.
Just
right after
and
Saunders'
she
death.
deserves better than that.
Right.
Because I mean, she is completely innocent in this
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing.
for sure.
I want to give credit to the actress here. I could tell from like as soon as Bond enters the room that something was off.
Yeah.
The way she played the
She
scene.
telegraphs it really well.
Yeah, you can tell there is some uneasiness and some tension, and but she quickly understands, because Bond said, I know you got a mark right there because
I'm the one
I'm the one that put it there.
Yeah.
I was sent to kill you, and so she realizes I messed up, like and so we get Bond being put on the plane, and Bond and Kara uniting, and they're looking at the heart, and Bond's like, "That's not a human heart. That's actually an animal heart."
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite lines of the movie, because how does Bond know the different? Like, Bond just knows everything at this point.
Do you remember on Her Majesty's Secret Service where Bond was a butterfly expert?
Yeah, it's like how would he know that?
Like, let's just like,
I'm suspended.
Let's just admit at this point that Bond knows everything.
You're right. He's a walking, talking encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So we see that there's diamonds in what is supposed to be the ice. We're smuggling diamonds. Okay, so
This is the superior diamond heist that I mentioned way back in Diamonds Are Forever. This movie fits this into it way better.
These diamonds only play like a little part in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like in this movie, it's so much like it reminds me of Octopus. It's just so many different
Plot threads.
Yes, but so we're now in Afghanistan. So Afghanistan, and it's kind of like the hot topic at the time because, of course, we had the Cold War going. The Soviet Union was trying to prop up a communist government in Afghanistan. Of course, the people of Afghanistan are Muslim, so they're not getting down with Soviet atheism. So they're like, forming the Mujahideen, which is made up of people that later on go on to make Al Qaeda and the Taliban and people like that.
Yeah.
So
but at this time they're okay people.
At this time they're our buddies. You guys like Rambo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I've also that Rambo's one of my favorite series.
Sure.
In the third Rambo movie, we get Rambo in Afghanistan helping the Mujahideen. So James Bond and Rambo helped the Mujahideen out during the Cold War.
Do you in your head canon, does Bond and Rambo exist in the same universe?
For sure.
For sure.
I think so. I think it does for me too.
But
Surprise he didn't show up in the Expendables.
Bond?
Yeah.
Hey, bring it on, baby.
I would
It would have been a shorter movie.
Yeah. He's killing everybody. Like, what are you doing? That was the guy delivering the pizza.
How's the movie gonna happen now?
So
we're all hungry.
But so we get there, and of course they're put in a jail cell, but Bond uses
the key ring finder.
The key ring finder, which is like one of the coolest little Bond gadgets.
Very practical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I mean, guys, this fight's really brutal too. The way Bond puts that dude's arm through and then slams the door, like
you see what he did to his arm.
Yeah, you see like the blood.
Yeah.
Like dang, and just for years I'd always thought, like, did Bond ever use the lock picks in his key thing?
Okay,
this is where he uses them.
Yes, I thought the same thing. So, like I said, I've seen this movie twice, and the first time around, I thought he just got the key off the guard.
Yeah,
and I noticed it the second time, like he uses
because he was telling Kara, he was like, try this one.
Yeah,
because they were already in handcuffs before they got brought in, so he didn't have the handcuff key.
So they're escaping, and they let the Afghan man.
He is so lucky he let him out. Like if Bond was just a classic dick like normal, I'd be like, nah, mate.
If it was Roger Moore,
he would have slept with him.
Yeah.
So
good thing it wasn't Sean. He would have picked up that bed in the jail and just beat the shit.
Okay. So
sorry, John.
There you go. So but yeah, like they're running, and the Mujahideen pop up, but Cameron Shaw's like, actually they're all right. Come on. So they get basically took to the headquarters of these guys, and Bond's all like, I need a horse and a bunch of guys.
These guys think Bond is the funniest.
Yeah, they just think it's a joke. They don't know how he lives. So,
I like how the guy that Bond breaks out of jail, like at first he's kind of amused by them laughing, but like the third or fourth time he's like, all right.
Yeah, all right.
Chill.
It's like we're doing something here. We own some, boys.
It's like we about to plot to overthrow the Soviets in Afghanistan, boys. Calm down. Quit laughing.
So I like how all this ends up happening, but then like whenever Bond goes with them and they leave the next morning, that shot when we're first in the desert the next day, where they're going out to meet the Soviets.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the most cinematic shots of the movie.
I thought the same thing.
Like,
Silhouettes.
It looked so great.
So in this scene, we get the Soviets buying opium from basically a bunch of like mujahideen dope dealers. I forget their name, but they had like a name like a tribe, and so this is like plays into the convoluted plot. We've got the diamonds, which I guess are buying the
diamonds are used to buy the opium to buy the guns.
Yeah, to buy the guns that they're buying from Whitaker. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I don't mind the convoluted plot that much. I just wish it's like we get all these different variables, I guess, like all at once.
Yeah, it's like there's so many MacGuffins. Like, I mean, Koskov himself is a MacGuffin. Like
that's one thing I will say that Octopussy did a lot better.
This movie doesn't spoon feed you a lot.
Well, right, and that I appreciate, but give me a little bit. You know what I mean?
That is the only problem I have with this movie is that the plot is a little convoluted.
Yes,
and it's the way it is explained to the viewer. I think that might be why a lot of people don't like this movie.
I feel like there's about 30 minutes missing. Exposition.
There might be needed a little bit more, like you said. So
they do the drug deal, and then Bond gets the bombs from him, and he's putting it in the truck, and he's going to go with him. I love how he goes with the men, and then Kara, the most competent Bond girl I've seen yet, rallies the Mujahideen to go and help rescue Bond.
Yes.
I love how she steals the AK. Off, that guy
and runs off.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like she's so innocent.
Yeah.
And like it is the least likely thing you would expect.
But she was 100. She was.
She was going for her man's.
Yeah,
she's gonna get hers.
That's why that part didn't take me out of the movie. It's like, okay, I can buy that.
Yeah, like she's dedicated.
Dedicated. She's down with it. That's one of the we were talking about her being like you could see her and
Bond,
Dalton's Bond,
settling down and
but I know we don't have much time left, but so I want to quickly talk about some things. I love the Bond and Kara with the plane. Bond's like, telling her to like
open
drive in it. And she gets it. I love that.
Yeah.
It takes her a minute.
Yeah,
which that's good. I'm glad she wasn't just like, giving him like hand signals.
Yeah.
Like it would be like, okay, how does she know what? Like it takes her a minute to get what he's saying.
But that and we got the killing. Well, not the killing. We got what should have killed Koskov, but
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
he jumps out of
the world. He lives through that. I don't know.
And I'll just say, I love Timothy Dalton with the head.
Yes,
what's it called, the headdress.
Dude,
I'm really not sure what it's called.
I'm glad you brought that
up.
up.
Turban. I guess it's just a turban. It's not really a turban.
It's to it's like to protect your skin from
some kind of headdress.
Yeah. But I'm glad you brought that up because I want to talk about how Bond gets found out. Like he was so close. They were so close to getting away with their plan or whatever. He just so happened to not be covering his face for 1 second.
Yep.
And Yorgi seen him. I think was it Yorgi that seen him coming out of the plane?
Yes. But yeah, just the whole thing with the plane, the fight at the end, with Necros.
I like that she actually flies the plane and she's competent.
Yeah.
So it's a breath of fresh air.
All right. 1 second.
Oh yeah. I mean, comparing Kara to Stacey Sutton, as much as I like Tanya Roberts, man,
she
Kara by far
night and day
floor with.
Kara has some brain function. It seems.
Even though it might be a little bit slow to start sometime.
But I do want to ask you guys this. So when she's flying the plane, at one point, it looks like the plane is starting to sort of drift upwards. And so she looks on the instrument cluster, and I think it's like a lever, and it says down, and she pulls it, which opens the cargo chute. Did she think that that's what
made it go down?
maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, that's a stretch.
I mean, it had to be opened anyway.
I know, but it's like have
It was a mistake.
have Bond or the henchman maybe hit something,
Hit a button
back there. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I was understanding that scene correctly.
Like the whole thing about the bomb being on the plane, like I always thought that was pretty just stressful. Like I mean, like just imagine being in that situation, like there's a bomb in a plane, but you're outside
hanging on a net.
On the net. No, you're not even in the plane. Like
you were fighting like one of the top like KGB like assassins
ever. Like
it is ridiculous.
I can sit here and talk about the technical part of this scene and gush about it, but I'll just say like I love this fight scene. It's still good.
It is great.
Yeah.
Like Necros is just so menacing. Like the whole fight, he's not saying anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He doesn't have to say anything. He's going to kill Bond. But then like you have the complete 180 turnaround whenever Bond is cutting his laces off. Necros knows he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And he's like literally pleading. He's like, please,
don't do it.
Please don't do this to me.
Yeah.
You realize how terrifying it would be to fall to your death?
Yeah, like from that
that height.
imagine, like it'd be terrible.
I think don't you go into cardiac arrest before you ever hit the ground?
I would.
Oh, yeah,
I would be terrified.
Dude.
In most cases,
die on the way down.
So
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Like I would rather die before I hit the ground
Yeah.
because you would just like explode.
what do you guys think of how Bond disposes of the bomb? Drops it.
I like it.
It was
Me
great.
too. So that shot, there's a wide shot, and I think it's actually once you see some people like crossing the bridge, and there's another wide shot where after Bond drops the bomb, the bridge blows up. Both those shots are miniatures. Do you guys know that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like I knew the bridge was a miniature.
okay.
I want to say this.
I thought
I'm sorry, Caleb.
I thought it was a really convincing shot.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I love miniatures. I love them,
I love,
especially when they're done well. Like I don't know, they're underappreciated. I think
the only time I didn't love miniatures was in Dukes of Hazzard. The later seasons. Of Dukes of
season
Hazzard,
8, like
They don't do miniatures well.
So
I think it's season 8.
One thing I want to say,
I don't remember
this whole Afghan part. Have either of y'all played Black Ops 2?
Yeah. It's been a long time.
You get Alex Mason and Frank Woods in Afghanistan during the Soviet-Afghan War, and like I think that is awesome little part. Like it always reminds this. Okay, so Call of Duty Black Ops 2, The Living Daylights, and Rambo Part 3, like are this trifecta of like the Soviet-Afghan conflict. Like I just love it. Like
I need to go back. I need to replay the campaign in that game because it's this movie, and then hearing you talk about it really makes me want to bring those missions.
So anyway, let's.
I would like to touch on the fact that Bond comes back up to the front of the plane and is talking to Kara, and she asks him what happened. He's like I gave him the boot.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's a good line.
It's a really good line.
He got the boot.
Like, I'm sorry.
I know a great restaurant.
My
Karachi, yeah.
It's so good. Like
they can just make dinner.
He doesn't lose his cool.
Yeah.
Like the only time he loses his cool is when Saunders dies. Like he flies a Jeep out of the back of a plane, lands it, and keeps going.
Here's what another thing that I really like about Dalton, and you could give credit to the writers for this, sure, but the one-liners are so far and few between that they feel earned.
Yeah,
he is not. He's not just like throwing stuff at a wall.
Like we just saw this dude outside a plane. Like he earned that one-liner about the boot.
Sure.
Roger Moore would have been cracking jokes the entire fight.
Sean Connery, he would have just like hit him like twice, and he would have been flew out the.
Sean Connery would have turned around, picked up the Jeep, and started beating the shit out of that guy with the Jeep.
I would like to say that they've improved the puppetry with this movie too.
Hey, I just see Connery with it again. Like
You see Connery walk off screen, and then you get a shot of Necros like that, and you see Connery with a cheer.
Hey, there's just
Bond smash.
something about Connery picking up stuff like. But so anyway, this last part of the movie,
the puppets in this movie, like the dummies. That's what I mean. The dummies, like when they're flying, falling through the air, whatever. They look way more realistic.
None of you two killed.
I don't think that was a dummy falling from the plane. I think it was a double with a chute, a parachute.
Well, no. Like,
or
I know.
Okay.
The guy playing Necros does have a chute, but like, there's like at the beginning of the movie, there's a dummy falling,
yeah,
and I think there's a dummy falling like at a certain point in the Necros.
Do you see him hit the ground?
I don't remember.
I think in the training scene, the pre-title sequence, I think you do see him hit the ground, and yeah, if like that's a very convincing dummy.
Yeah, it looked good.
But yeah, like, so what do you think about the end scene with Whitaker and Bond going up against Whitaker?
It just feels tacked on.
It does.
It really does. Like that is. I mean, I wouldn't change anything about this movie, but that scene could have been really amped up by like something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe Bond having to like fight that guy, the head guard. You know, the guy that like Whitaker's, you know, henchman or whatever that guy was. Maybe Bond having to fight him or do something. It's just like
maybe if Whitaker had like an arena set up like a battlefield and they fought on it.
Oh, yeah, that would have been cool.
But like instead you're just in his man cave.
Yeah.
It's just kind of underwhelming.
Look, I'm not saying that room isn't cool.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
it is cool.
It's really cool.
It just doesn't really lend itself to a climactic.
I'm kind of mad they fought in there.
Yeah.
Like
because they're breaking all that shit.
Yeah, like it was cool stuff.
I want y'all to take note of the whole toy soldiers thing. The first movie that I want us to do after we get done with Bond is I want us to do a movie called Callan. And Callan is a very stale beer espionage show. If you like the themes in The Living Daylights, you would like Callan. But Callan is into war games. That's one of his pastimes. But anyway, we'll talk about that movie when we get to it.
So
this
go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna ask. So after he kills Whitaker, they arrest Yorgi, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As likable as he is, I think I would have liked it better had they spared Whitaker and killed Yorgi. You know what I mean? Because
I would rather Whitaker go to jail, and Yorgi needed to die.
I mean, Yorgi is like the slimiest guy ever. He needed. We needed to see him.
So they telegraph it. I have something I want to say about Whitaker in a second, but like whenever Pushkin's like put him back on a plane to Moscow, and he's like give him the diplomatic bag treatment. You know they're gonna shoot him. They're definitely shooting him.
Like they're taking him out that building right there. And shooting him right then.
Yeah, like they're going to kill him.
I did. Yeah, okay. I didn't pick that up.
Yeah. He's gonna die.
Yeah,
okay. Well, good. Now I feel better.
Immediately.
Like meaning he's literally.
They're walking him out of the room.
Get killed right then.
Okay.
Because you know how the Russians do things. You know they're into stuff like that.
Okay. Now what I said doesn't really make sense, but I was gonna say this. I would have rather Whitaker be spared, and like it's the same character in Goldeneye. Joe Don Baker play the same guy, but
like have him like turn a new leaf or whatever.
Sure, yeah, something like that.
I would like to say something about Joe Don Baker here. As many people probably know, he played Buford Pusser in the Walking Tall movie.
Yeah, played Jack Wade in Bond.
Have you ever seen Walking Tall? Have you ever seen
bits and pieces?
So I have never seen Walking Tall, but some of our listeners may not know this. Jonathan, Caleb, and I, we're from Savannah, Tennessee. It's very close to Adamsville, where Buford Pusser's from. My grandfather actually went to school with Buford Pusser. They played basketball together. So, like, that's tidbits for the podcast.
Yeah, a little bit of trivia for the
a little bit of small circle stuff here
for your ears only lore.
It's only for their ears,
right? Before we wrap up, we got to talk about Felix. We skipped over Felix.
We did, and you know what? That right there sums up how I feel about this Felix. we literally skipped over him.
Yeah,
like,
that's okay.
So
I feel the same way.
this is the like, as Caleb put it one time, milk toast.
Yeah,
This is the most forgettable Felix. Like this Felix, I would have rather his name been Chad.
Is this guy dubbed?
I don't know.
He looks like he's dubbed.
Maybe. Like I don't like looking at him.
I will say this: I do believe this Felix is probably the most like the Felix in the novels, just the way he looks. Like he's like just this like kind of like tall, slender dude.
He looks like he's from Texas.
Yeah, like you can tell he's probably trying to be played as a Southern boy, maybe.
Well, no, he was dressed like a douche.
Yeah, like
Very 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, I think it had potential, but we just got nothing, you know. Like that's the thing. Like
it was kind of useless.
Yes, like there was literally no point.
Nothing came from that.
See, I think there was a scene like, okay, so you have him and Felix sitting down. Felix is pouring him a drink. They're like, well, let's talk business. And then it cuts.
Because to Yorgi and Whitaker.
So, like, if they had showed them talking, I might have gave him, like, some semblance of a chance.
The only other reference or the only thing I can think of that has to do with the whole Felix scene is, like, you get a shot of a camera, like, zooming in on a yacht.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Yes.
And that's,
this is the first time we've seen Felix since Living Let Die.
I know, and it's just like,
But
it didn't even have to be in the movie.
It was such a weird choice.
It feels like it was just put there just to be like,
oh, don't forget Felix.
Yeah, like we have to put Felix in here, so Bond's going to go see Felix for a little bit, and literally that's all we do is see him go, and they pour some Jim Beam and drink that. And
Jack Daniels was right there.
And like that's literally what is done. Like
it's almost like up until the Brosnan era, it's almost like there was this rule that each actor's first Bond movie had to include Felix, and so they just tacked this scene on.
Which I mean, in the Brosnan one, we get Jack Wade. Kind of a Felix, I guess.
Yeah, Felix is replaced because
Felix V2.
Sure, yeah.
But
there's a better Felix coming next time, listeners.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We actually go back to somebody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that we're kind of needing to go ahead and sign off. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. This is by far one of my. This might be my favorite Bond movie. Is what I'm trying to say.
It's pretty darn close.
Like this. And Goldfinger and For Your Eyes Only just kind of like stay in that rotation.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it that you love it. I love it that you guys share this love of this movie with me. By the way, I'll try to remember and show the computer game next time for this. And there's a License to Kill computer game too, and I will try to bring it on the podcast too if I can remember.
I'd love to see
like I have so much like different memorabilia I could show. It's just like I forget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially like
you have
I'm down
so
here,
much that it's probably just easy.
Yeah. Like I'm down here in Savannah, so I don't have any of my stuff with me right now. So I don't have any.
Plus, this is an extra special episode because this is the first time we've done this together.
Yeah.
This is the little Christmas present
to the
Christmas
present to our to our fans.
I'm not really here. This is a green screen behind me.
That's why the door's white.
I'm superimposed. Yep. So I'm really here. It was a joke.
But
wow, Caleb.
Well, guys, I'm gonna leave it with this. One of my favorites. Love the actor, love the plot, love the Bond girl, love the gadgets, love the villains. I love Yorgi Koskov as a villain. Kind of like just you
can just take Brad Whitaker out of this movie.
You could,
yes, like Brad Whitaker, kind of like thumbs middle, not really. I'm just kind of neutral on him,
Necros is the best.
But
dude, honestly, yeah,
Necros is the best part.
Necros is the best henchman in a long time. You know what I mean? And of course, Aston Martin. What can you say?
Oh, yeah.
It is pure sex on wheels.
Yeah, pure sex, baby.
Like, if James Bond was a car,
it'd be that car.
Yeah. Like the color,
yeah,
the stuff it does. I'm in love with that car. I would leave my wife for that car.
One thing I do want to
I
say.
would leave your wife for that.
Yeah, I would let you.
One thing I do want to say, my man Mark Edlitz, who I've already mentioned once in this podcast, just came out with a new book. It's called James Bond, After Fleming, I think is what it's called. It's talking about the continuation novels.
I know it brings up the Raymond Benson novels.
So it's talking about the Christopher Wood novelizations, the John Gardner, the Raymond Benson.
Raymond Benson.
Messed it up.
Okay.
All those guys. And my wife ordered it for me the other day. So
Let's go.
It will be in.
Be prepared.
We'll most definitely, hopefully, the next podcast, it will be joining us. You know what I mean?
Cool.
I'm definitely down for that.
If y'all want to buy yourself something,
yeah,
go ahead and buy yourself something nice.
Yeah, hey, buy yourself something nice. That's all for me.
I would love to just say this right here: The Living Daylights, my favorite Bond movie, my favorite Bond song, my favorite Bond car, my favorite title drop. Hell, Timothy Dalton, he is like even with Pierce Brosnan for being my favorite Bond. Like, I'm not even going to be on any more of these podcasts. I don't have anything else to say. I'm done.
Just me and Caleb from now on.
This movie does a lot right. This, like Jonathan said, this might be your favorite Bond movie. It's pretty close for me. Like, this just hits so many of the
like this and like GoldenEye.
I love the Cold War atmosphere in Bond movies, and that's one of the notes this movie hits really well.
Yeah.
It hits you get the cool Bond car, you get the locations, and Timothy Dalton as Bond is like it's kind of perfect for me.
It is.
He's very underappreciated. He's very underrated, and I hate that he only got 2 movies.
Yeah.
If Timothy Dalton, how old is he? Like 60 something? We'll say late 60s, something like that. If he was still Bond, I wouldn't mind.
Dude, I wouldn't mind at all.
You just have to have a hairpiece like Connery.
Yeah.
Dude, I would watch it, man. I love Timothy Dalton.
I would watch that guy watch paint dry.
Hey, maybe they could do that CGI they did on Harrison Ford.
De-aging.
Oh, my God.
And de-aging, and we could get like the real third Timothy Dalton Bond movie. Hey,
dude.
The real third Timothy Dalton movie. Jesus Christ.
Me too.
I
feel you.
The real third Timothy Dalton Bond movie is the Lark's cigarette commercial. You guys need to go watch the Lark cigarette commercial. You'll be happy you did. It's on YouTube.
So, you got anything to say about it?
I think I'm done. Yeah. If I were to give it a numerical score, this is a 10 out of 10.
Oh, it's by far a 10 out of 10.
This is a 20 out of 20, boys.
Not even a question about anything out of 10. It's definitely as high as you can get it. It's there. So next week we will be on here for License to Kill. By the way, if you made it this far, go check out my James Bond Jr. series.
I didn't mean to watch those.
We are almost all the way through of those, and I was doing my 31 Days of Bond, which I was trying to do a video a day. I've got off on that, but I mean, I did more this year than I did last year. I barely got into it last year because I got COVID.
Yeah.
This time I was doing pretty good there for a minute, and then I started just working pretty much all the time, so I didn't have a chance. But I will be straight with you. James Bond Jr. is a lot more enjoyable than I thought it would be.
Really?
I mean, yes, and I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to plug my stuff, but I've actually really had a good time reading those comics. And I'm kind of becoming a James Bond Jr. fan. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, John, you might as well be. You've come this far. Just own it.
But yeah. Anyway, that being said, if you've made it this far and listen to all of us babble this long, make sure you like and subscribe and share us. Okay.
Also, get your friends to watch The Living Daylights, man.
Yes,
Get Timothy Dalton some fans out there because this movie is highly underappreciated.
And keep bonding. Always keep bonding.
Shout out Aunt Kathy.
Aunt Kathy. So for your ears only, a Bondcast will return with a license to kill.
Thank you for joining us for episode 15, The Living Daylights.